Welcome, guys. This is the Sugar Coin Academy channel, and we are going to be talking about online order forms and why you should add them into your business, the benefits to doing it, and things to include in your order forms if you are going to use them and create them in your business. Okay, I'm Sid of the Sugar Coin Academy, and we are getting ready to get started. All right. So I have 5 points that I want to touch on when it comes to order forms. First is the purpose. Okay. So the purpose of you having an order form is so that you can have everything in one place. Drop it in the comments. Let me know if you are a business owner and you get inquiries from so many different places. Like you get them from Facebook, like drop a 1 if you get them from Facebook, Instagram, text message, email, phone call. Type a 1 if that is one of the biggest issues that you have in your business. Go ahead and put that in the comments here. And if you're watching the replay, put it in the comments down below. Put a 1 if this is something that you are struggling with and you are so over it and you are so ready to get past it. I'm telling you that order forms is going to fix all of that for you. Okay. So I started using order forms in my business back in 2014. And I started using it for registration forms at first for an event. Then I eventually started using them more so for customer feedback, student feedback, really, because I had a lot of classes that I was teaching and I wanted to know what people thought about the classes. Then I started using it for other order processes. So I also do web design. And if somebody wanted a website, then they would fill out a form. They would actually submit payment through that form so that I didn't have to worry about setting up an invoice or anything like that. And so it really made my life a lot easier. I was getting, you guys, messages from Instagram and Facebook and text message and email and the website from all these different sources. So I completely understand the struggle that you guys are going through because I was in that same boat. And the way that I fixed that was by using order forms. So the great thing about order forms, especially if you use Jotforms, which I am a Jotform affiliate, but you could use any type of forms. But the only reason I'm a Jotform affiliate is because I love them so much. And I talk about them so much that I was like, might as well be an affiliate. But the thing that I love about Jotforms is as soon as I create a form, I actually have a direct link that goes right to that form. So it doesn't matter if somebody messaged me on Facebook, Instagram, text message, I can say, oh, this has been an awesome conversation. But just because I don't want to miss anything that you have to say to me or any of the details of your design, I'm going to send you this link. Fill out this link whenever you get a chance, and that will be an official order with me. All right. And that's how I use order forms to this very day. Okay. So from that, they know that whatever we talked about isn't official until they submit that form. And guess what? That form also has payment. All right. So they know that I'm not going to get started until I've got payment and I know exactly that there's an order in place. Okay, so that's exactly what I want for you guys. So the purpose of you using an order form is so that everything is in one place. It funnels directly to you, regardless of whether they hit you up on Instagram or text message or a phone call, it funnels directly to you. Okay, so all in one place. Purpose of an order form is also for a paper trail. All right, write this down, star it. The purpose of an order form is also for a paper trail. How many times have we thought that we heard one thing, we confused it with something else, and now our wires are crossed and there was just a complete miscommunication? Well, if you use an order form, the likelihood of that miscommunication drops dramatically because that person submitted that form. So you can come back to them and say, when they're like, oh no, it was supposed to be pink, and you have the form that they filled out and you're like, no, it's purple on here, then you know that they came specifically from the customer, that it wasn't you, but you now have a paper trail of that, which is basically your support. And especially for those of you who haven't made it to the point of having a contract yet, or if you haven't become an academy member and you haven't taken the contracts class inside of the academy yet, then having an order form and having that paper trail in place is going to protect you if something ever goes sideways, because now you got it that says, oh, it was supposed to be pink and not purple, or purple and not pink, whichever one I said. right? All right. So it's your documentation. You want it as your paper trail, and you want to be able to have it to funnel in all of your content or all of your inquiries into one place. The other thing that I really love about Jotform as well is that they have an inbox. Okay. So just like how you have your email inbox, Jotform has an inbox that you can use to collect all of your submissions, and you can actually funnel back out an email response directly from your Jotform as well. Okay, so when I say it's getting your life organized and getting your life straight, I mean it. And also, if you are a person who's like, but Sid, I don't really like doing a lot of things electronically. It kind of scares me that I don't have a paper copy. Look, I get it. I'm a millennial. I need to have stuff printed out. You see, I literally have written down notes, and you may not want to do everything electronically. Well, that's okay, because if you have your form, then you can just attach it to a printer, get you a cheap printer from Walmart or Best Buy or something that's just, that you can print off stuff real quick. And then you can actually tape it up on your wall in your studio or on the refrigerator or whatever way that you use to organize it. You can actually have a physical copy, and you can actually, once that order is filled, you can put that paper directly on the box, and you can have people sign off for it when they pick it up. But it could be, you can use that as your order process. If nothing else, you can have it where they submit a form online, you print out 2 copies, you have both copies hanging up on the wall so that you know exactly what you're doing. And then once you finish, you keep your copy and you take the customer copy and you stick it onto that order. And then when they come to pick it up, then maybe they sign off on your copy and then they keep their own copy, however you want to do it. But that's one way to keep yourself organized and to keep that paper trail that I was talking about. The options when it comes to forms, obviously there's a ton. My preference is Jotform. If you haven't figured that part out yet, my preference is Jotform, but there's also Google Forms and there's also Airtable. Now, what I really like, and I'm not going to touch on those too much because I'm going to steer you guys toward Jotform because to me, it's the best one out there. But the thing that I really love about Jotform and why I want you guys to use it is because of the payment part. I know for sure Google Forms doesn't allow for people to it doesn't allow for you to process payments on the form. But the thing about it is I want you guys to make money, right? So I don't want people to just fill out an order form. See, this is how it would go. If there's not a payment process attached to the form, this is how it's going to happen. Somebody's going to fill out your Google form, and then you're going to receive the submission, and then you're going to have to go out and create an invoice and send them an invoice, wait for them to pay to confirm that they placed the order, and then you actually confirm the date or the order on your calendar. Right? Or in your, whatever your order process is, it's not confirmed until the person has paid that invoice. That's way too many steps for you and for the customer. It should be that they submit the form with payment attached. Boom, it's confirmed. That's it. Boom, it's confirmed. That's it. All right. And even if you're like, what if I want them to pick a specific date and I don't want to overbook myself and all that kind of stuff? You can actually set up to where they have a date picker as well within your Jotform too. So you can make it to where they have to set the date and they have to make the payment all at the same time. So then you don't have to worry about overbooking yourself either. Okay. So think these things through. I want you to get money as soon as possible. I don't want you to have to waste time creating an invoice, waiting around for people to pay it, and then they decide to pay it or not to pay it. I want them to have to pay as soon as they submit it to you. So when it comes to the payment processors that are attached to Jotform, for sure, and there's several, for sure, it can be Square, PayPal, Stripe, and Authorize.net. Those I just know by memory. There are several more that you can attach, but those are the ones I just know by memory. And on my forms, I use both Square. In the past, I have used Square, Stripe, and PayPal for all of my forms. So yes, and it works great. Just like how if you had a Square store and somebody made a payment and you get that into your account, it's the same way. And you can actually set up subscription. So let's say if you were doing a cookie subscription or some type of dessert box subscription, then you can use your Jotform for that as well. And it makes it an automated process. All right. Okie doke. So your options, like I said, are Google, Airtable, and Jotform. My preference for you guys is Jotform so that you can collect payments right away and not have to waste administrative time going back and forth with invoicing. Shanice says, what if the deposit or payment amount changes each time? I use QuickBooks. Okay, so that's a great question, Shanice. If the deposit changes every time, then you may have to go through the whole process of sending an invoice. But if you could possibly set it up to where you have a minimum deposit, I would try to work on doing that just to save yourself some time. And then no matter what, it sounds like you're going to be sending out an invoice for the balance. And so it would make more sense to try to find whatever your minimum deposit would be, set that up as your order form, and then when it comes time for them to pay the balance, then you send them that balance is the thing that fluctuates as far as the invoice goes. All right. So the first point I wanted to make was about your options. The second point is about adding payments. So I think I kind of crossed over my wires there. But definitely the thing I want you to do is to make it to where you can collect money up front. I haven't talked a whole bunch about deposits on the page here, but I definitely talk about it inside of the Academy. Your deposit is so important, especially when it comes to the fact that you are making product that requires ingredients, right? And so I don't ever want you guys to come out of pocket to make somebody's order. Let me repeat. I never want you guys coming out of pocket to make somebody else's order. Okay. So that means they either need to purchase up front, so like a pre-sale or a deposit. The only time that a person doesn't purchase up front and give you money up front is if you're having a pop-up sale. And even then, I would prefer for you to do a pre-sale. But like, let's say that there is a vendor event in town and you're making like 100 cookies or 100 cupcakes or something to sell at a vendor event, a public vendor event. That's one thing because you're producing inventory. But if somebody comes to you for a birthday cake or for a set of cupcakes, they need to pay you up front because that puts what they call skin in the game. All right. So if they decide that they're not going to come pick it up, you're not out any money because you collected your money up front. They may be out product because they didn't come pick it up, but you're not out money. Okay. There are things that you have to buy: butter, eggs, flour, everything else that's supposed to go into that. And you are running a business. And when you run a business, you take money up front before you deliver. Okay. So that's my soapbox on that. As you are looking around for forms, if you decide not to go with Jotform, then please make sure that your form can collect payments when the person pushes the submit button. Okay. Be where the money's at, where the money resides. All right. So I talked about how I want you guys to funnel your whole process. I want to kind of emphasize what that means. If you have a customer that comes to you, regardless of whether they come to you from Instagram, Facebook, text message, phone call, however, through your website, however it goes, the whole purpose of your order form is to make your life easier. So I want you to be able to take that link from the form that you create and work up a way. I don't care if you have to write up a template of how you respond to people, or if you write up a template and you save it and that's what you email to people, however you want to do it. But make it to where that there is a process of taking people off of whatever the other platforms are and funnels them directly into your sales module, to your form. Okay. So for example, I have a conversation with somebody on Facebook Messenger. They messaged me on my Facebook page. And they're like, oh, Sid, I really love, your gender reveal cupcakes. I really want to order a dozen of those cupcakes. Sure, that's great. Well, are we doing a boy or a girl? Well, it's actually a girl. Oh, that's so awesome. Except, could you make it where it's pink sprinkles instead of pink sanding sugar? Not that anybody would ever ask that, but let's just go with the example. All right. Yes, Mary, whoever. Now I'm really making up this story. Yes, Mary, I would absolutely love to do this for you, but I just want to make sure that I get everything right. Would you mind filling out this form for me? Boom, there's the link. And as soon as you fill out the form, then I'll know exactly what you need and you'll be able to submit payment right away. Blah, blah, blah. Have a good day. Can't wait to do this order for you. right? I could have that same conversation with Mary through text message. If she found my number on the website and she texted me, then I can send her that same exact message via text message. If you just so happen to have your phone number listed on your website or on your social media, and somebody calls to place an order on the phone, then you can still go through that same process. But what you're going to do is you're going to say, can you provide me your email? I will send you an email to the order form. Okay. So now you've taken the person's contact information from the phone. So now you've moved it from them being a random stranger with a phone number to now having their email address. You can get in contact with them via email, and then you send them the form. Continue to tell people the order is not confirmed until you have filled out this form. It's going to be like muscle memory, and maybe it may take a little while for you to get used to, but I promise the more you use the forms, the more you will love them, and the more that it will be like, where have you been all my life? Why haven't I been using them my whole life? Okay, so try to practice funneling people from all the different channels, Pinterest, social media, Facebook, everywhere else where they're messaging you, all the way down into your order form so that you can get that money, and so that you can have that paper trail of what the order is so that you don't get confused. Okay. This is mostly good for like standardized things, as well as if you have a deposit that's the same kind of like Shanice just asked about. Now, let's get to the list. So we went to number one was options. So we talked about options. We talked about adding payments and how you should look to add payments. We've talked about funneling people from all over the internet down into your order form, which you could do the same thing now. I know we're talking about order forms, but if you had an online store, you can do that same process with an online store. As long as you have a link to the store, you can have that same conversation, except the link that you give them is to the store and not to your order form. Okay. So we talked about those three things: options, adding payments, and funneling. Now we're going to talk about what to include on your order form. Okay, so point number one of things to include on your order form is the contact information. I know that seems like something very simple, but no, legit. Your contact information is very important, but not just the name and the email. The name, the email, the phone number, and potentially the social media account. And the only reason I say collect somebody's social media account is because what if you take an awesome picture of this cake and you want to share it on your social media? Surely you might want to tag them in the post, or you may want to basically cyber stalk them later after the party is over and see on their page if they posted any really good pictures. Okay, so if you already have their social media accounts, i.e. their Instagram or their Facebook, then you can actually check out what they may have posted after the event is over and use that information, or comment on their picture, or see if you can repost it, all that good stuff. So the contact information should include their name, their email, their phone number, as well as potentially their social media, if you're really big into social media. Okay, you could say their address, but you may not need their address at all. That's not going to be necessary unless you have a contract, and on that contract, then the address is going to be important. Okay, so second thing on the order form would be product and flavor options. Okay, so what are they purchasing from you? The product and flavor options are going to be important. This is basically your menu items. So red velvet, vanilla, it's a cupcake, it's a cake pop, it's a cake sickle, that type of stuff, wedding cake, whatever it is that they may be purchasing from you. Okay. The third thing to include is important dates. Okay. So the important dates, like when is the cake delivered? Like when does the cake need to be picked up? When does the cake need to be finished? That type of stuff. So important dates is very important to include. The event date, that type of stuff. Okay. So then the next point, let's see, is point number 4 is dietary restrictions, such as, is there food allergies that we should know about? Is the person vegan? Is the person, are people gluten-free at this event? So any type of specialty dietary restrictions you're going to want to know about. And this is specifically for the person who's ordering the cake. They will know if there needs to be some type of dietary restrictions. And then at that point, you can decide whether that's something that you offer or not. The awesome thing about Jotform specifically is that you can put in conditions, and so you can ask for dietary restrictions, like if there are dietary restrictions, and you can make it to where as soon as they say vegan, you could pop up a notice like, please note, we do not offer any vegan any vegan products in this company, or please note that there are only 2 options when it comes to vegan, or whatever it is you want to say. I'm not saying you have to use the conditions, but I definitely would say to acknowledge whatever the dietary restrictions are, and make sure that you are aware if somebody has a nut allergy or other types of allergies as well, because that's going to be very important in covering yourself. Point number 5 would be special instructions. Okay, so special instructions means like, is this a promposal, or is this a proposal? Is this something that's a complete surprise? They will know what to put in the special instructions. But you can also offer, there's 2 ways you can do it. You can offer special instructions as like, is this a surprise? Like, you can have actual points that they can pick. Like, is this a surprise? Can I post pictures in advance, or whatever? Or you can leave it as like a blank text thing for them to actually fill in special instructions, like, meet us around the back. Please be there by, an hour before the party starts, or whatever it is that they decide to put in the special instructions. Okie doke. After special instructions is delivery options. And when I say delivery options, I mean that in a general way of pickup or delivery. All right. So you may not offer delivery. You may only offer pickup. So this may not even be a point that you have to include, because you may just put a note that says we don't offer delivery. But it's something to note if you do offer both, so then they can pick which one they would prefer. Okay. The point after that, so 1, 2, 6, 7 is, so point number 7 is themes and colors. All right. So I remember when I was doing web design, I almost always forgot to ask people their themes and colors. And that's some other point that I want to point out as well. If you find yourself having to add, like after somebody's fill out your entire form, which we still do have a couple more points, but if you find yourself asking the same question over and over and over again, that may be something that you need to add to the order form so that you can collect that information automatically when somebody fills out the form. And my example of this was themes and colors. Whenever we did people, I think it was either logos or websites, and people were filling out the form, I would get ready to work on the design, and then I would be like, what were the colors again? And then I always had to come back and email people afterwards saying, what were your colors again? Can you send me like some color samples of what you would like to use on the design? And then I realized, maybe I should actually put this, on the form. And what I ended up doing was making it one of those fill in the blank, as opposed to like actual color selection. So I would just say themes and colors, and then people would say, well, I would want it to be girly, or I want it gold, or I want pink, or I want whatever it is. And so for you guys, it would be like whatever the cartoon, if it was a cartoon character, or if it was baby shower, or whatever the theme is, then they would actually be able to just type that in there, and then you would know from that point on. Okie doke. Disclaimers is the next point. So you want to make sure that your customer is made aware of your terms, your policies, and all that good stuff. I know that you may have a contract that you're going to end up sending them, but in the time as they are filling out their contract, or in the time in the time that they are filling out the form, then they need to also be made aware of your policies. Like, do you have a, 2 week in advance or like where they have to pay the balance within 2 weeks or whatever the policies are? Make sure that they have to tick the box to sign off that they have been made aware of the policies, and you can include the policies on the form. Okay. It's just like when we first sign up for any type of app on the App Store, or when we sign up for any type of account on any other type of online portal, there's always a terms and conditions before we can move forward. And it's going to be the same way with you guys and your order forms. Make sure they are made aware. This is your disclaimers, made aware of your terms, conditions, and other policies that are important for when they place an order with you. Okay. All right, so the next point is quantity and size. All right, so you're going to need to know how much they need, how many guests are going to be there, because that's going to make a big difference in how big of a cake, or how small of a cake it is that or cupcakes, or however many that they need. That's going to make a big difference. All right, so you want to be made known of all of that as well. So definitely use the quantities and sizes. You can make it to where you have a minimum, and you can make it to where they can't go over a certain amount without actually coming to you. And I'm not saying that people can't email you inquiries. Absolutely, they can email you inquiries. And there may be ways that you can avoid not using an order form, but or ways you can avoid using an order form. But this is for the majority of the cases of people coming to you for, specific standardized things for a birthday and all that kind of stuff. You'll still be able to use that order form, but quantity and sizes you'll want to be made aware of. Okay, so miscellaneous rentals. If you do provide rentals such as cake stands or trays or other type of display items, tablecloths, that type of stuff, then you'll want to make sure that you are made aware of that as well. And it may not be something that's covered in this initial deposit when they fill out the form, but it may be something that you charge them for on the back end when they are paying the balance. But it's good to know up front if that's something that they need, because it may be something that you can offer to them at a later date, right before they pay their balance. Okie doke. So also upload images and files. So you have an option within Jotform for people to upload a picture, upload images, and especially if this is a bride or a mom or somebody who's planning a party, they may already have inspiration pictures in their phone, such as screenshots or something. Give them the option to upload that so you can at least get an idea, especially if this is a project that you haven't actually spoken to somebody over the phone, or you haven't spoken to them via text message, and you want to get more of a better idea of what they're looking for out of the project. Then it's going to be a good idea for them to be able to upload pictures. You can also set a limit on how many pictures they can upload. So you don't want them to upload 50 pictures of, some cartoon character cake, but, you can limit it to they can upload 2 or 3 pictures so you can get a better sense of what type of cake or cupcakes or treats they're looking for and the type of theme that they're trying to match. Okay, so customer budget. Okay, so here's my thing. If you are a person who has a minimum, all right, this one I have to say very slowly. Let's say you have a minimum order budget, $150. All right. If you do not turn your oven on for anything less than $150, then what I want you to do, and this is for anybody, I want you to make a customer budget area, right? And don't make the customer budget question a fill in the blank. Don't make it a fill in the blank. Make it where they have to push what's called a radio button. That means they only get to pick one of the options out of the list of options. Okay. If your minimum is $150, then the budget, the first item should say that their budget is max $150, because your minimum is $150. So for those of you who are people aren't respecting my minimums, and I keep getting all these inquiries from people, and they don't want to pay over $150. Well, if you are forcing them to submit through the order form, then they are going to automatically have to suggest that their maximum is your minimum. Okay. So any person who is filling out the form, if they are not willing to have a maximum budget of $150, I can guarantee you they won't fill out the form and they will weed themselves out. Okay. So make sure you have a customer budget area. What I would do is I would do maximum, like the options, I would do like maximum, whatever my minimum was. Then I would do like another level up, which was a range. So let's say if we're sticking with $150, then my second option would be $150 to $250. And then my third option would be $250 to $350. And then my last option would be over $350. So that the customer who's filling out the form has basically suggested that they are willing to pay over $350. And that's how you do your customer budget area. Okay. So make sure you do a customer budget area, especially if you have order minimums. Cool. All right. And then the last point that I want to make sure that you include, and you guys, this is not every single thing that you should have on your order form, because I'm pretty sure that there are other points that you might want to include on your order form. These are just the ones that I actually thought of and came up with and have on the list. There may be some other items that may come up. And like I said, if you find yourself asking the same question over and over and over again after somebody has submitted the form, then that means that needs to be a question that is added to your order form. Okay. So the last point that I have to include in your order form is venue conditions. You want to know what this venue is like, especially if you're making edible products that need to be refrigerated or sit in a cool place. You want to know, is the venue outdoors? Will there be access to a refrigerator? Is it going to be in a temperature controlled area? You want to know that type of information, especially if this is an order that you're going to complete, because it may actually affect the type of recipe that you have. You may have 100% buttercream recipe, and now you need to go to 100% shortening, or I need to go to Sam's Club, or I need to go to something else that's not going to melt right there on the spot. So you want to know what the venue conditions are. Okay, cool. All right. So we've gone through so far the options. We've gone through what to include. We've gone through adding payments. We've gone through funneling people. And then I also want you to make sure to set up automation. Okay. So most of these other forms, I'm pretty sure they have some way that you can automate a message, but I know for sure that with Jotforms, as soon as somebody publishes a form, then they can receive an automated email. Well, first of all, when they submit the form, there's going to be like a success page. And on that success page, you can pretty much write whatever you want to. So let's say that you want them to fill out something else, or maybe you want them to go follow you on social media. You can put that on your success page. But also after they get to the success page, they can receive an automated message. The automated message could be something that shows basically a receipt and their own copy of what they just submitted on the form. However, you can also make sure that that automated message, you can get one that comes to your email as well. Or in that email, you can edit it and you can say some other stuff like, be sure, be on the lookout for a balance invoice from us within 3 weeks of your due date, this, that, and other, whatever it is you want to put in there. But I want you to make sure to set up some type of automation so that your customer gets their receipt, so that you get a message directly into your email box, and so that you are directing them in the right place. Okay. Cool. What else? Oh yeah, and I did say something about the inbox. So Jotform does have an inbox area. Make sure you check that part out as well. If once somebody has submitted a form, the other two things to consider is downloading the app to your phone so that when somebody submits a form, you get a notification on your phone as well. So let's say if you are out and about and you're not checking your email, let's say you don't have push notifications on your email, then you actually can get a notification from the form, and you can check out what was written on the form within the app on your phone as well. Okay, cool. So I'm going to go to the comments for questions and see if you guys have any questions for me at this time. Okay, so Felicia says, did you say Square can be linked to Jotform? Yes, Felicia, Square, PayPal, Stripe, and Authorize.net all can be linked to Jotform, and you can use them as a payment processor through Jotform. Shanice says, can they attach inspirational pictures of cakes or idea they want? Oh, yeah. Yes, absolutely, they can. The other thing that you can do too, and especially for those of you who might use the form as the way to get your deposit, and then you're going to be sending a balance later, what I usually do is I will download the form that they completed as a PDF. And I also use Square as my invoicing system. And I know that you can do this with PayPal as well. But I will take the form that they submitted, download it as a PDF, and then I attach it in my balance invoice. So if I'm sending an invoice through Square or PayPal, when it says attach, then I will put the PDF of their form, their order form, as an attachment so that they know exactly what it is this balance is related to. Let's say if they haven't heard from me in a little while. Okay. All right. Does anybody else have any other questions? Was this helpful to you guys? I hope it was. And don't forget, you guys, this was a high-level overview of things that you should include. I'm actually going to be doing a walkthrough on Sunday, the 28th at 3 p.m. for Sugar Coin Academy members. If you're not a Sugar Coin Academy member, go to sugarcoins.com like right now and join for only $15. You'll get access to that. You'll get access to that training. You'll get access to the bookkeeping training, to the contracts training, as well as the social media module, the fondant module. We did just have a beginner fondants class as well. You'll get access to so many different business trainings. Go over to sugarcoins.com. Read through what all is included for that $15, as well as the support group that we have on Facebook. It is probably one of the most valuable memberships that I can assure you most of our members would say it's one of the most valuable memberships that they have right now. And I know that I have some Sugar Coin members right here. So you guys can attest as to whether these people, whether new people who are just now finding us on YouTube, which I'm excited about YouTube, whether they should join or not. So Tamara said, I had no idea Jotform could do all these things. Yes, Tamara. And guess what? On Sunday, because you're a collector, you're going to see all the things it can do. Because this is me just giving you guys a high level. But on Sunday, it is literally a 2-hour training where we're going to do a walkthrough of all the bells and whistles that you can use in Jotform to make your life so much easier with using forms. It's like it's literally my top app that I have in my arsenal of things. Latora says, my sweet diva says, yes, it was. I have most of the items listed on my form, but I'm updated now. Awesome. Lachey says, I'm looking at Jotform. It's overwhelming. I know. Well, look, that's why I'm going to break it down on Sunday. Okay. Latora says, could you add a contract to Jotform as well? Yes, Latora, you actually can. And they actually have a signature widget as well, Latora. So let's say you add all of the text that is from your contract. You can add that onto your form, and then you can add the signature widget so that they actually have to sign before they submit. Okay, so yes, you can totally use Jotform as your way for people to fill out a contract. The only thing I would make sure is that if that's the case, if you're using Jotform as the contract, then make sure that you include an address, because you are going to need that if anything ever goes sideways. Because as you know from the contracts training, that you're going to need the address just in case you have to litigate, just in case you have to, make a lawsuit against them. Tamara says, yes, looking forward. Lachey says, how do I figure what form to use? Lachey, that's a really good question. Actually, I'm going to cover that on Sunday, and you're going to be there. I know you're going to be there at 3 on Sunday, but there's so many different templates. That's the other thing too. There are templates that are out there on Jotform, so you don't have to start from scratch, but you could start from scratch if you wanted to, based off of the items that I just listed for you. You could just literally, go from your notes and then just drag and drop and make your own form from scratch. But I'm actually going to show you guys a form that you can use that's a template already out there, and then I'm going to show you tweaks that you can make. Latoya says, I saw that. Cool. Yep. All right. I hope you guys found that very informative. There you go. I hope you guys found that informative. I definitely feel like I touched on as many of the points as I was hoping to touch on. I have like all these notes, and I went off the rails on a couple of the notes. So if you're not already following the channel, please subscribe to the channel. Please hit that like button, that thumbs up button. Go stalk the page. There's so much more content on the Sugar Queen Academy channel. I've got stuff for folks who are interested in learning more about the cottage food laws. I've got a pricing class, pricing training on our channel as well. We've got a free pricing class over on the sugarcoins.com website. So, we already know how the rabbit hole goes. Go to sugarcoins.com, check out more about the Academy. I really would love to see you guys in the Academy and in our support group so that you can learn and grow, learn how to grow as well, a profitable baking and sweets business, because that's what I'm here for. I want to see you all be so successful in life, right? All right, you guys are awesome. Thank you so much for staying tuned and joining. Like I said, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to hit that like button, and definitely continue to leave the comments. And meet me over on the Instagram page. So go to sweet_fest. It's always a party over there. I always have something going on in my stories, and I've been posting more content in my IGTV as well. So yes, see you Sunday. Excellent information. Thank you. Oh, and if you are watching the replay, just know that the training on Jotforms will be in the Academy after Sunday, April 20. Good Lord. Sunday, February 28th. Let me do that over again, because I'm going to cut that part out. So if you are watching the replay, just know that the Jotform training will be in the Academy after February 28th. So if you find this a little bit after February 28th, 2021, then it is already in the Sugar Coin Academy. Just go to sugarcoins.com. If you are not a member, make sure to join. It is one of the best things that you could do for your baking and sweets business. All right. You guys are awesome. I'll see you guys around. Bye, guys.